Janine Firpo, and in this demo, I'm going to show you how you can use As You Sow, Invest Your Values, a freely available website that we discussed in the last video, to actually research and find stock funds that may be more aligned with your values. And as before, we're going to go ahead and start with the fossil-free funds. This time, instead of looking for a particular fund, we're going to go to the top scoring funds. And what this will do is it will list out for you the very best funds from top to bottom in terms of their fossil fuel grades. Now, what you will see over here is that these make up a variety of different kinds of funds. We have some US equity large blends, we have some international funds, we have large value funds, mid-cap funds. If we clicked on get more funds, we'd find even more diversity. So this is really showing the entire universe of funds, which may or may not be of value to you, but I'm going to show you how you can narrow this down. Before we do that though, I want to show you that in addition to being able to look at this by fossil fuel grade, you can also look at funds by financial performance. So let's say, for example, we wanted to know, well, which funds did the best over a 5-year period in this area? And you will see the funds rated by their 5-year return as well as their fossil fuel grade. Another thing you could do is you could go to other issues, and what you would see here is how that particular fund shows up across all of the 7 values lenses that As You Sow uses. So there's quite a bit of information available. But let's say, for example, that you only wanted to look at large cap blends. So if you remember from the last video, we looked at 2 funds. We looked at the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index, VTSAX, and we looked at a Vanguard ESG ETF with the ticker of ESGV. Both of those were large cap blends. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to search settings. And what you will see is you have all kinds of filters that you can use to make decisions about the types of funds that you want to find. And we're going to go down to the fund group. We're going to say we want to find US equity funds, and we want to find within that the fund category. We want large cap, large blend. Here we go. We just want to look at large blend. That's it. US equities, large blend. That's all we want to look at. We could make a lot of other choices in terms of, do we only want to see ETFs? Do we want to only see portfolios that are diversified? Only those funds with sustainability mandates. In other words, in their prospectus, when they set up the fund, they said this is a sustainability fund. We could filter by grade, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see the level of detail here and the kinds of choices you can make. But as we scroll down, what we will find is these are all large cap blends, and they're still showing up in terms of showing us all of their grades. But let's just go back to the fossil results only. Let's say that we want to see the best performers here. This will show us within large cap blends, and you can see these are all large cap blends, which companies or which funds are the best performers. You could also look at this from a financial performance perspective. Again, we could choose, say, a 5-year, and we could see how all the different funds performed over a 5-year period. Okay, so this lets us look at quite a bit of information and compare and contrast different types of funds, which is incredibly helpful and a great way to navigate to find the kinds of things that you want. I want to show you another entry point for As You Sow. So let's go back to the first page, As You Sow, Invest Your Values. And this time, instead of choosing the fossil free, let's choose the gender equality lens. And what you will see here is you could again go to the top scoring funds, but let's go to VTSAX since we had looked at that previously. And you'll see that in this particular case, the kind of information that we see is very different than the kind of information that we see for fossil free. In this case, we're seeing a gender equality score, we're seeing a ranking, how this shows up against other companies, and we see a breakdown of different aspects of gender diversity or gender equality in a company and in a ESG analysis, and how this particular fund shows up across all of those kinds of things. And we could view more rankings. And again, we can scroll down, see how this particular fund performs across all of the different lenses. We can see the top scoring holdings in terms of gender equality. We can see the bottom scoring holdings in terms of gender equality, and how much of the fund by percentage and actual dollar amount is invested in those companies. So this is another view to the information, and the other 5 lenses will provide different views as well. But I hope you can see just from this very small demo how you can use this tool to effectively find some of the funds that may be more interesting to you, and how you can do that on a sub-asset class basis. So sometimes you'll find a lot of information about best performing funds, particularly in the large cap category online. But if you're looking for international funds or emerging market funds or small cap, mid cap, that can be harder. And this tool can be very helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching.